King Mark here, and welcome to Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. Last we left off, well, we helped out Eiger on her loyalty mission. God, that took forever. Found out who exactly we took out the engineer, and we found out he was working for a group called Winter Night. Who are they, you ask? If you've played the tabletop RPG, you'll understand who they are, and how bad they really are. However, before we go and talk with Eiger, we still have to do Glory's mission now. First, let's check out the jobs directory. F-State Protection. The writers have it on good authority that the Lobachevsky Syndicate is eyeing Shotnest for expansion. For the good of the Flux, you should keep a watchful eye on the situation. See attached files for more details. Wow, Shock 1 writer. Okay, bad news for Shotnest, but the Rambock isn't going to stop them, and I hear Surf Driver's out of the picture. Well, I'm sure there's some Polo Club out there who wants a piece of the pie. I know we've got enough of them. I know the Humanists have some presence there, but I doubt they'll fight the Russians too much. I'd say they're far more likely to form a partnership. Alright. I've got some solar panels like everybody, but does anyone have any experience with these mounted turbine services? I'm off the grid, so there's some times when I need to do some late night decking or maintenance on my telescoping limbs. Is that the thing where a mage comes by and drops some juice into a generator? My buddy was telling me about them last week. The turbine spins the mono around and charge lasts for weeks, he said. They're a scam, Chummer. That mage is gonna be out there with your money before you realize how much power you actually got. You're better off peddling a bike battery. Alright. I don't get where the icons for when it comes to I don't get what the icons for like my friends list and stuff aren't really showing when they show up sometimes. Might be a PlayStation thing. Okay. We could talk with Eiger, but I wanna get this done. Let's go to Feuerstelle. There goes down here anyway. So, if you're wondering what happened last week, I did stream, but the stream cut out halfway again, so another processing error. Now we're gonna help out Glory. Hopefully, this week isn't all that bad. Hopefully. And yeah, I'm sorry for being late. I was just doing my dailies in the sky, and I kind of lost track of time. Feuerstelle. The drive from the Cruise Bazaar to the Schonbuck Forest was a long one. For over 6 hours, you and Glory rode in relative silence, with the only sounds of the road for company. Now you find yourself crouching in the woods, watching, waiting. Off in the distance, the rustic exterior of Feuerstelle looks curiously warm and inviting, but you know what's waiting inside. The anticipation churns in your guts like a living thing. Ew. Eventually, a van pulls out of the compound's driveway and rolls out along a service road before disappearing from view. Glory gives you a nod and begins to scramble forward. Harrow has left the building. It's time for you to make your way inside. Alright. Oh, let's pop this. This. Yeah, let's go full med. Yes, I know I have karma, but I don't really know what to do with it. I could pop into some conjuring. Wait. Right, I gotta save up so I can access more of the rifle. I think I could pop one into dodge. Yes. The weathered edifice of Feuerstelle looms above you, dark and sinister in the chill night air. Despite the horrifying stories that Glory told you about this place, something about it feels strangely comforting. In the back of your mind, insidious voices whisper that you could stay here forever. Do you feel it? The lure of this place? Glory gestures with a thumb of chrome and steel. When I was a kid, when I was whole, the pull was irresistible. Yeah, I could feel it. It's almost pleasant. It's meant to be. That's how it gets to you. It worms its way inside of you, changes you, and you don't even realize what's happening until it's too late. She looks at you and her eyes are dark. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet but steady. You're going to see some terrible things here, Shift. Feuerstelle exists to prey on the young, and we're going to have to come face to face with that. You sure you're prepared for this? When you say the young, how young do you mean? I need to know what we're walking into. Teenagers mostly, 16 through 18, though is the rare exception. That's young enough to make me feel uneasy. She nods. Me too, but we're going to put an end to it, one way or another. So I'll ask you again, are you ready for this? I need an honest answer. I'm ready as I'm going to be. She studies your face for a moment longer, then looks away. Good. You want to compare notes? Make sure that we're on both on the same page? She nods. We save the street kids and the runaways that are living here. We take them away from this place before Harrow can turn them into monsters. We keep them from following in my footsteps. Any suggestions on how we should approach this? Harrow keeps the shrine on the compound. It's the key to his control over the cultists. We're going to purify the shrine and break that control. And then we're going to lead those kids out of here. Tell me more about the shrine. It's a lump of rock about as tall as I am, inscribed with runes and encrusted with bone. Ew. Its power comes from an entity that Harrow bound into the stone. Something very old and very dangerous. A toxic spirit. In many ways, it is the heart of this place. The voices that you hear, whispering in the back of your mind, those are the spirit's voices. It saps the will of anyone who sets foot on these grounds. You can't save those kids until the shrine is dealt with. They'll fight us if we try. Alright. I want to ask you a few more details before we head inside. That makes sense. If you have any questions, it'd be best to ask them now. So how do we purify the spirits? Some sort of ceremony or ritual? Something like that. It'll be easier to just show you. I've got everything we need right here. She pats the satchel that hangs from her shoulder. When the time comes, I'll conduct the ritual. But before I can do that, we're going to have to face the spirit on its own terms. And that's going to be a dangerous shift. Why attempt to purify the spirit at all? Why not just kill it? That spirit has its fingers in the minds and auras of every kid in this compound. If we kill it, those kids will get hurt. They might even be killed. We can't take that risk. But if we can cleanse the adversary's corruption from it, it might withdraw from their minds willingly. And then we can get them out of here. Exactly. If the shrine controls the people here, then how do you have anything to feel guilty about? The thing that you did under Harrow was really your fault. Her face flushes red and she breaks eye contact with you. I wish that were true, but it isn't. Back before I ran away, Feuerstelle was nothing more than a cold personality that revolved around Harrow. He didn't need magical help to keep us here. We loved him, and we believed in his message. He created the shrine as an insurance policy, and you think that something has changed, and that he has started abusing the shrine's power? She nods. Yes, and I think that my escape was the cause of that change. I know, Harrow. When I ran, I bruised his ego. His charisma and charm had failed him, and my disappearance rubbed his nose in that failure. He wouldn't be willing to chance something like that happening again. Not when he had the means to prevent it. So the cultists here, they're like puppets? The shrine controls them? Not exactly. It's more insidious than that. Think of the shrine's influence as a drug. It lowers your inhibitions, makes you compliant. If you were to stay here for a couple of days, you'd fall in love with this place. And you wouldn't even know why. All of Harrow's bullshit would start to make sense. You'd be happy. In essence, all of the street kids here are addicted to this place. That makes them a threat. Yes, but also makes them victims. Alright, let's go back to talk about what we're doing in here. I think that's everything I need to know. Let's get moving. She nods, then the razors flick out of her fingertips. I'm with you. Let's do this. So yeah, last week there was some processing error again. I think it got to the part where I was talking with Eiger first after the last mission, so yeah, I decided to just do this mission already. Here's the door. The doorway shimmers with a faint red light as you approach the door. You can feel a squirming sensation in the back of your skull. Your limbs begin to tingle, then feel heavy. The closer you get to the doorway, the more of a struggle it is to continue moving forward. It feels as though the strength is being siphoned from your body. Step back. As you step away from the door, the crawling sensation gradually recedes. A moment later, the strength returns to your limbs. Glory stares into the light, frowning. The shrine room is through here, but this barrier wasn't here before. Harrow must have warded the doorway after I ran. Fantastic. Now what? The ward is like a lock. There must be a key. Back when I helped Harrow run this place, he and I were the only ones allowed in the shrine room. So we looked for whoever has taken my place. That's where the key will be. How will we know who that is? It'll be a girl. Harrow would never take a male as his second. He wouldn't want the competition. And her hair will be fire red. It's the sort of insignia of rampant in the cult. Girl with red hair. Got it. Here's the thing. If you actually had talked to that door, if you actually went to that door beforehand, after you do a certain part, you would have learned who it is. Terminal. This appears to be a standard terminal. Login prompt glows on the screen. Hack. It looks as though this terminal is used exclusively for financial transactions. After a bit of digging, you find a list of payoffs to local law enforcement, paid by Harrow, no doubt, to ensure the police look the other way. Well, Harrow's bribes are going to be very useful for pay data. An ostentatiously large tome sits cradled on this pedestal. The paper is robust and fibrous, and the binding has been expertly stitched. A steel plate running along the book's spine anchors it into the pedestal. Glory stares down at it, frowning. Harrow's manifesto. The handicrafted line of bullshit that he feeds to his initiates. We all ended up with a smile, and came away convinced that he was a genius. She leaps through the pages with an articulated finger. Looks like he's expanded it over the last few years. It's at least twice as thick as it was when I lived here. Maybe there's something in here that we can use. I don't want to hang out around long enough to find out. This is Harrow's personal library. He used to experiment in here. There were dangerous things in here shipped. Sick things. I was never allowed into this room without Harrow. Nobody was. He said that it was for our safety, and I think that he was telling the truth. She pauses. I feel uneasy being in here, and I don't want to stay any longer than we have to. Whatever Harrow's added in this manifesto, it could be important. We gotta take a look. Alright, I'll watch your back, but try to be quick. Leave through the beginning of the manifesto. You flip through the early pages of the manifesto and find what looks to be a good place to jump in and start to read. When I first set out on the path to free living, I realized that I'd have to rethink all of my earlier assumptions about life. I'd have to question my own values and beliefs. I'd need the strength to trust in the answers that came to me. The prospect was daunting, but it was also necessary. The road to true freedom is paved with unanswered questions. After all, you can't learn to be free from a book. The answers won't come from a Bible, an instruction manual, or a code of conduct. If you don't learn that, you'll never break your chains. The path to true freedom is one that each of us must walk on his or her own. What makes life worth living? What in life is truly valuable? And what is the dross that can be burned away? I spent weeks dissecting every aspect of my life to find the answers to these questions. Slowly, agonizingly, I pared down the list until only 4 items remained. These 4 items became the cornerstones of my new philosophy, the basis for everything that Feuerstelle stands for. Love, the first cornerstone, and the most important. Without love, life is bland and meaningless. Without love, we might as well be machines. Love what you do, love the people around you, but above all, love yourself. That's kind of basic, really, just to live. Learning to love yourself is the hard part. Learning to love others even more so. Self-determination, the second cornerstone. Each of us must be his or her own shepherd. No more gods and no more kings. Your life is your own. Lash out against anyone or anything that tries to treat you like property. An assault on your freedom is an assault on your whole being, and it must be met with an equally ferocious response. I can definitely see why people buy into this. Charity, the third cornerstone. A miserly life is an empty life. If each of us is his or her own master, then nobody should live as a serf. By helping others along the path to enlightenment, so do we enrich our own lives. Passion, the final cornerstone. Complacency is poison. Be wary of it. Ambition is the key to a fulfilling life. Don't settle for what is. If you do, abandon what could be. You hear a rustling sound behind you. Glory. Turning, you can see a troubled look on her face. That ominous feeling is getting stronger. Shift. Feels like we're being watched. Continue. Leafing through the middle of the book, you find a section dedicated to Harrow's rules of living. Be free. Be free in all things, and experience that freedom with your whole being, body, mind, and spirit. Discard the oppressive traditions of modesty and shame that you've been indoctrinated with since birth. The free thinker has no use for them. I'm guessing that's what he considers the adversary. Your body is a source of pride, of pleasure, and of succor, for yourself and for others. Enjoy it, and share that joy freely with those who desire it. Be selfish. Don't enslave yourself to others at the expense of your own happiness. Take what you want and do so unashamedly. Our desires are an important part of what makes us human. Society has trained us to hide that part of ourselves from the world, but the free-living person doesn't cower in the shadows. Own your desires and rejoice in them. Show reverence. The free-living person understands that the only true governance in this world is the law of nature, and that in nature there is a hierarchy. The rabbit doesn't question the wolf. The mouse does not wonder why it must run from the cat. They do because they must. Their survival depends on it. As it is in nature, so it is at Feuerstelle. Know your place in the food chain and understand the mechanisms by which you can better yourself. You leaf forward and find that there are at least 20 more pages worth of rules. Each is worded vaguely enough to have multiple interpretations. You hear another rustling sound. Glory, moving behind you. She stares down at the rules of living, a look of disgust on her face. Oh, we should have gone etiquette academic. Clear, simple rules with a focus on instant gratification. I can see would this be appealing to a street kid. She nods. That's what Harrow wrote for them, and he mined an entire library's worth of 60s countercultural essays, New Age self-help books, and cult manifestos to do it. There isn't a single original idea in this thing. That only matters to the people who know that it's stolen. Glory freezes up, her shoulders hunch, and her eyes narrow. Shift, that ominous feeling, it's getting closer. There's something in the room with us. I'm sure of it. We need to get out of here now. You keep an eye out. I gotta finish this. There might be something in here that we need. The final pages of the manifesto devolve into semi-cohesive rants about anarchy, social Darwinism, free love, and the Horn God. You've seen this kind of thing before. Harrow's philosophy is collapsing under its own weight. Unfortunately, none of his cultists seem to have caught on to that fact. Done. This philosophy of Harrow's really starts to break down. Glory lets out a startled cry, cutting your sentence short. Out of the corner of your eye, you see her wheel to face something behind you. All at once, the room fills with a slaughterhouse smell. A smell like blood and bile and feces. The stench of Avatar. As you turn, you catch sight of something sliding into the world. It looks like a charred man with a pair of tortured faces where his shoulders should be. The thing burns like a Roman candle, spitting white-hot sparks into a fiery plume. An oily substance runs down between its dangling legs and splatters onto the floor. And where those drips land, they burn. Shift! Look out! Oh. Oh, God! Right, this thing's immune to bleed. The body of the thing that attacked you begins to dissolve at the moment of death. As you watch, its tissues break down into a glowing stick like of bubbling pitch and rendered fat. What the hell was that? Something from another place. Glory stares at the remains of the creature, now a dark stain on the library's floorboards. Like I said, outside, the boundaries between the physical world and the astral space are weak here. Things can come through. A headless abomination just pissed lighter fluid on the floor and then tried to burn us to death. I think that things can come through is underselling it a bit. She shrugs. Semantics. Can we please get out of here before it happens again? Yeah, good plan. Oh, come on. As you open the refrigerator door, a whiff of ammonia sticks in your nostrils. Watery light glints off the door's polished exterior. The fridge is stacked with full of large plastic bins, all tightly sealed and neatly labeled. It's hard to tell through the opaque plastic, but they appear to be full of meat. Inspect the containers. You pop the lid off the container to take a closer look. The first thing that hits you is the smell. The meat in here is beyond rancid. White mold frosts the sides of the bin, and it's all that you can do to keep from gagging. As you rush to put the lid back on, you recognize a familiar shape in the rotten meat. A mangled human hand. Is that what I think it is? Glory's voice is flat. Ritual supplies. The adversary prefers them aged. Harrow teaches all of the initiates how to do it. How to harvest the meat, how to store it, how to label it. Nobody likes doing it at first, but you learn. By the end, it doesn't even bother you anymore. I get the picture. I warned you that you'd see things you didn't want to in here. You weren't lying. She turns away from you. Come on, let's keep moving. Yo, this place has gotta go. If we get a chance to kill Harrow, I'm taking that chance. Medicine cabinet. Send the stash. Use it for later. Put them in here. This is the initiate's dormitory. The new arrivals are brought in here. There's still hope for these kids' shift. Harrow hasn't had a chance to ruin them yet. Good to know. Let's try to get them out of here. Glory raises a hand and suddenly alert. Wait, listen. Moving in the other side. In the other room. Listen closely. You strain your ears to listen. Soft voices from inside the room come drifting out from a nearby vent. You hear a woman's voice. The sound is crisp and smooth and sweet, and it instantly puts you at ease. Oh no, dear. It's probably nothing. You don't need to worry yourself. We're still far off the beaten track. We won't get a lot of visitors. We don't get a lot of visitors. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see Glory's back stiffen. She flinches as though she's been stung. Another voice, high-pitched and pleading, an adolescent boy. But what if it is someone? What if the bad people have found us? What if they follow me here and they've come to... The female voice cuts in, soft and comforting. Well, then we'll send them away. You're perfectly safe here. You have to believe that. Don't worry, dear heart. Harrow won't let anyone hurt you. Not here in this place. Not ever again. You hear another boy's voice. This one is deeper. Are you certain, Marta? Oh no. Positive. Be calm, all of you. As long as you're here with us, nothing bad will ever happen to you. Is that your Marta, Glory? She gives a curt nod. Not mine. Harrow's. But she's the martyr for my story, yes. What do you want to do? Glory pauses, grits her teeth. Finally, she spits out an answer. If she's still here, she'll be Harrow's #1. My own position. She had his way with all of us, but he was always sweet on Marta. That means that she'll have the key to the shrine room. In that case, we're gonna have to find a way to get it from her. Yes, but not here, and not now. Those kids in there, they'd all die for her. They already love her. That's what she does. We can't risk confronting her in that room. If the situation turns ugly, and one of those kids will happily take a bullet for her. And that's not what I came here to do. You're right. We came here to save those kids, not get them killed. We'll wait until Marta leaves and follow her. Glory nods her assent. Marta's voice floats back up through the vent. Hush now, boys, and get some rest. We've got a big day tomorrow. The biggest day of your lives. You get to meet Harrow. I promise you, after you speak with him, you'll see the whole world in a different way. A better way. The adolescent voice trembles out a response. All right, Marta. Have a good night. A lovely musical laugh pours through the vent. You too, dear heart. All of you. You hear the distant sound of a door sliding shut. Glory takes a deep breath and releases it. The coast is clear. We could hand you the initiatives. They're just a bunch of scared kids. Without Marta there to egg them on, they won't try anything. Step away. I want to check out that other door. Just in case, I am going to save. but I feel we should probably at least save that for next time, because I have a pretty good feeling that this is going to be a bit intense for a number of reasons. And yeah, I'm sorry for this video being short. I'm just want to make sure that this goes well. Anyway, I'm Dragon King Mark, and next time we're going to confront Marta. We're going to get the key, possibly try not to kill her. Then we're going to purify that spirit and save these kids. If you guys like what you all saw, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay notified, and I'll see all of you next time. Laters.